Hi ladies, how great is this? You know, in this season, it's been really hard to sit with friends and have a cuppa and just hear what God's been doing. And this is why we've created this environment, so you can tune in and just get to know people a little bit more. You know, these conversations after church, we're not getting to have them, and the reality is we don't know exactly when we'll be able to meet together again. So today we are having a chat with Sally Parker, who is the families pastor here at the Barrabool campus. And I know that you are going to be so blessed by what she's got to share. She's honest, she's real, she's vulnerable, and you're going to get to hear a side of her that you probably haven't seen on the One Hope Kids videos. So sit back, grab a cuppa, and we know that you will be blessed by what we share today. Hey Sally, how you going?
Hi Nick, how are you?
Good, it's so great to have you on the couch with us today. Now today's a very special day because it's actually your birthday.
Yes, it is.
How exciting. The big 3-0.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm so excited to be in my 30s.
Yeah. And you've had a special day?
I've had a very special day. I got a yoga mat.
Oh, good.
For my birthday and a candle from Kmart.
Lovely.
And a mug from Kmart from my son Henry, which is very exciting.
How good's Kmart?
I know. I just tell my kids, go to Kmart and I'll be happy.
Yeah, seriously, I do not even know how I walk out of that place. I was there just today and I walked out and I said, how did I just spend $50? Every time I go there, it just drains my bank account.
Yep.
But anyway, we are not here today to talk about Kmart.
Sadly.
I know we could. We could easily fill hours talking about Kmart. But today we're here, Sal, just to get to know you a little bit more, because you started here at One Hope at the start of this year, and I'm pretty sure we all know that this year has not been a normal year. So I would love it if you could just start by telling us 3 things about yourself. They have to be interesting though, okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm overly interesting person.
Oh, come on.
But that doesn't mean I'm not very good at talking about myself. So here I go. So I love musical theatre, bit of a musical theatre buff. Not that I've seen heaps of musicals, but I love a good sing-along with
Have you got a favourite?
Sound of Music.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
I've been obsessed with that since I was a kid.
Traditional.
Julie Andrews is heavenly.
Classic.
Heavenly. So I do love a bit of musical theatre. What else is interesting about me? I am families pastor here, but what is maybe a little bit interesting is that 3 or 4 years ago I would have said that I would never do youth or children's ministry, and that was my story for a really long time. So the Sally of 5 years ago would be very surprised to hear that I am a families pastor now. So it's kind of funny to think what God has done in me.
Always makes a fool of us, doesn't he? Whatever we say.
Whenever I say never. Yeah, exactly. And then 3rd thing, however, I'm going to do 4. 3 is I love op shopping, and 4 is I used to have dreadlocks.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And do you know,
so interesting.
Something else that I just found out about you recently is that you've got a nose ring and you totally rock it.
But I forgot to put it on for today.
You know
they
what?
just fall out all the time.
It's one of those things that I have always wanted to do, but I just don't think it would suit me. I just think I'd look silly.
Nah, do it, Nick.
I used to have
It's
a
never
tongue
too
ring.
late.
When I was 21, I had a tongue ring.
They really hurt, apparently.
Yeah, I just did it for attention, really. Just talking point. And belly button ring, but that was it. And again, I just got that because my mum didn't want me to. So my 18th birthday, she told me when I was 18 I was allowed to. And
if you've got the belly for a belly button ring, then I think you should go for it.
yeah, it's not in anymore.
You don't have the belly for a belly button ring anymore?
Well, after 2 children, it sort of just didn't look the same.
There's plenty like that the ring could hang on now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Frowny face, all that sort of stuff.
Definitely.
All right, well, let's try and let's keep this G-rated.
Yeah.
For
Godly.
our ladies. Yeah, exactly.
Let's make
We're here. But, you know, the heart of Unveiled is real, authentic conversations. And what a great way to start. Talking about all of these really inappropriate things. So, Sal, I would really like to know how you are going. And when we ask how you're going, like really, how are you going?
I'm okay. Okay. 2020, like everybody, has not been quite what we envisaged. And ISO has its ups and downs in our little family unit. We haven't enjoyed it, really, on the whole.
Yeah.
And the way I like to relax is to get out of the house, and I would maybe just go to the shops and grab a coffee and walk around and get a bit of me time, go to Kmart. But without that, I've had to learn to be a bit creative about how to have downtime. And
how are the kids coping?
Not that great.
This is it. Be honest, be real. Tell us how it is.
This week's been really hard. We just everyone's been over it, really tired. Lots of meltdowns, lots of tears. And the kids, they've been crying as well. No, we haven't cried, but we felt like crying.
Yeah.
So it has been really hard. Grace said to me the other night, Grace is my 8-year-old, she said, "Mum, you're a really good mum, but you're a really terrible teacher." And I was like, I hate that I have to be her teacher.
Yeah.
I just want to be her mummy. I don't want to have all these extra roles in her life. And in the early days, Henry, our 7-year-old, he's just turned 7, he was doing a little exercise where he had to write down, they get them to do these well-being things at the moment, which I think is hilarious. Anyway, it's great though. Gets them thinking about how they're feeling. And he was writing, the questions were, what do you find challenging at the moment? And his answer was, Dad being my teacher. What's the worst thing about home learning? Dad being my teacher. So his every answer about what was hard about this was his parents having to be his teachers.
He sounds like a smart kid.
He is actually.
Yeah, that's the way just to get the work done quickly. Get it over and done with. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
If only he did get his work done quickly.
I know.
Maybe my answer would be different right now.
It's full on though. I think, that environment of being parent-teacher is really difficult. But, on a positive note, Grace could have said to you, I don't like you being my mum or my teacher, and that would have been really confronting.
Yeah, exactly.
So at least you're winning in the mum department.
Yeah, true.
Now, something else that, part of what we're doing here with Unveiled is really getting to know, what God is doing in your life and knowing who you are. And I know here at One Hope, we've seen you on the screen and encouraging our children, and that's the Sal family's pastor. But today I would really love to hear about Sal, the woman, and getting to know who you are and even what God has been doing in your life and speaking into your life, because, we don't all have it together all the time, and, there's ups and downs to this journey that we're all on. And I've loved getting to know you. We've had the pleasure of having a coffee, legally when we weren't in ISO, don't worry. And then also a few phone conversations, and, hearing your heart has really blessed me. So today, let's hear a little bit more about you and, what God is doing in your life, and a bit more about Sally Parker, the woman.
Thanks. So you want me to just
go for
waffle?
It. Yeah, waffle on. Tell us some things, about, if I was to say to you, that the heart of Unveiled is real, vulnerable, authentic stories. Tell us something, real and vulnerable about yourself.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, I think when you called me, Nick, and you were like, would you speak, or would you share on the couch? And I said yes. The following week after that conversation was just a really flat week, and was really struggling and just feeling like I don't understand why I'm here in this church when I can't meet anybody properly and build relationship. And I was just feeling really flat because I'm a people person.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I want to do Sunday. I want to have hundreds of people around and, be meeting everyone face to face.
After church mingles where you get to chat to people. And
yeah, exactly. So, I was having this flat week, but I was reminded of this story, which I really love, in in the book of Luke, this story is in a few different Gospels, and it's the story of the woman with the alabaster jar that comes to Jesus, and she breaks this jar of perfume and she pours it on his head. In a couple of the Gospels, the story is that she puts it on his head. But in the version in the book of Luke, it talks about her wiping it onto his feet.
Yeah.
And it talks about her tears and using her tears to wipe his feet with her hair. This amazing kind of story of intimacy,
Yes,
this
a beautiful picture.
of using your hair to wash someone's feet with your tears and your perfume. This image of her bringing her best, like the thing of most worth that she has, this perfume, but also this image of her bringing her tears, her brokenness, her hurt, her sadness, bringing that, not just bringing it to Jesus, because we talk about bringing our sorrow to Jesus, bringing these our hurts and our struggles to Jesus, but we don't really talk about serving Jesus with our struggles and with our hurt and with our tears.
Sometimes we feel like we actually have to pull back when we're struggling, don't we?
Exactly. So I was reminded of that story and really felt like I wanted to mention that story and share about that story today, because I feel like that story is just so such a vivid image of what my journey of leadership has been like. I think that for me, I have cried a lot of tears over the last 10 years in my life. And I've been in leadership in church for those last 10 years. And I've felt like for often I've fought against the tears, and I've felt like my struggles have made me unworthy to be in leadership, and I've questioned why I should be in leadership, questioned whether I should even be serving if I'm not feeling together. But over the last 10 years, God has been faithful, and He has actually allowed me to still serve. But not only has He allowed me, but He's actually used my struggles, used my tears to serve Him. And I do think that as women, we can, we're emotional.
Yeah.
We're emotional.
Absolutely.
I don't know about you.
Well, I'm very emotional. Just ask my husband.
Exactly. So, but we can feel like our tears can hold us back, and sometimes we're living in a man's world and we feel like, certainly I felt like in church leadership, I felt like, I don't cut it because I'm too emotional.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
But Jesus' response to this woman in this moment is so amazing, and the way that He rebukes the men's criticism of her really speaks to me that Jesus isn't scared of our tears.
No, absolutely.
And he actually, not only does He want us to, but I really think He expects us to bring our warts and all, and allow Him to take that and use it for His glory. And so I guess I just wanted to kind of share that story and say, that's me. Yeah. I'm that woman. And at One Hope, you'll get to know me. I'll have my moments of tears and my weaknesses and my failings and all that sort of stuff. But I just feel like God has very much been teaching me to not resist that and not be ashamed of
so true.
My weaknesses, but to really understand that it's in my weakness that He is made strong, or that, we are made perfect.
I think we can really compare ourselves, and I think there's that idea that, Sal's a pastor, so she's got this all together, that's going on, and we see you on the screen and we see this bright, bubbly, amazing woman, and I've heard you sing, like I follow you on social media, and I've heard this angelic voice, and I was like, well, she fits the perfect frame of a pastor. But you know what? We need to start to realise that we're actually all children of God, and yes, you are a pastor, and there's authority that comes with that, but you're still real and you still have those emotions, and you know it's not always a glorious life. And even just hearing you share that is so encouraging, because that realness and that authenticity just speaks that we don't have it all together.
No.
You know, it's that journey of just seeking God and calling out to Him and saying, you know, help me, you know, move forward in, you know, the good times and the bad times. And, you know, for you, you've experienced the support of church family. I know we've talked a little bit about that. And, you know, you've been through some really difficult times, and your church has helped carry you through that. And would you be happy to share a little bit about that? Because, you know, here, this is a new church family. One Hope is a new church family for you. So not that you start again, but in some ways you're here and people don't know a lot about you. So if you're happy to share a little bit about, you know, what you've journeyed through.
Yeah, sure. So I guess one bit of context is it's so funny to even be referred to as a pastor, because as opposed to the rest of the pastors on staff here, I am completely untrained. I'm studying Bible college now.
Yeah.
But
what are you studying?
Well, I'm studying leadership through Alpha Crucis, which is the it's sort of the AOG Bible college.
Yeah.
But I'm just one of those people that were in leadership in church and then just kind of found my way onto staff. And so I'm very much like anyone else.
Yeah. We all are.
I'm just so totally normal. I certainly don't have a PhD or anything like that in theology. So I kind of fell into leadership. But what happened really is that I had my first baby and started working at my church all within the same year. So my life kind of turned upside down really quickly.
That was just having a baby.
Yeah, exactly. So having a baby and then becoming a pastor kind of all in the one year was really pretty intense, really, when I look back on it, to think that so much had changed about my life. And then as I journeyed through, you know, having babies and being in leadership, we then had some really tough times as a family. About 4 or 5 years ago, my younger brother Stuart passed away. He collapsed one day and was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. It was about 6 months that he was sick until he passed away. And many people at One Hope would know, because they were praying for us and obviously supporting Ellie and Jono and my mum and Cam. And
for those that don't know, Ellie's your sister, so there's the connection.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, you know, I always had this beautiful connection with One Hope. You know, One Hope had been so supportive of our family through that time. But, you know, I found myself in leadership in church. I was a worship pastor at the time. It was December as my brother was, you know, getting really sick and leading up to his death. And I was so busy, you know, trying to be a mum of 2 toddlers and trying to run all these Christmas services and rehearsals and trying to get down to Geelong as much as I could to see my brother. Yeah. I was so busy and pretty stressed out. And so anyway, I just found that I was a mess. And in the couple of years following, I was messy emotionally. Yeah. And to be honest, I didn't even know if I even really liked Jesus anymore.
Oh, wow.
You know? Yeah. Like I was in church leadership, but I was struggling in my faith. Yeah. Yeah. And I was this woman that was just broken and in tears. And the one thing I think about is that I just never left the room. Yeah. So I think about this woman, and she was in the room with Jesus.
So good.
She brought her tears and she served Jesus with her tears, and she didn't leave the room. And I was struggling in my faith, struggling to figure out, how do I be a leader when I don't even feel like I can lead myself? Yeah, yeah. And I remember really vividly one of my friends who's not a Christian saying to me, Sal, do you think it's time to give away this faith thing and get a different job?
Oh, wow.
And in that moment, I was like, no, absolutely not. And I said to her, I if I had lost my brother and I lost Jesus at the same time, I wouldn't be able to get through this. And it was this realisation that even though I was messy, I had Jesus there. And even if I didn't really want to talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was a bit grumpy with him. And I was
still in the room.
And I just stayed in the room. I didn't leave. I was like, I'm just going to sit in this. I'm going to be honest with the people that I lead, that I'm in this place.
That's great.
You know, not that I was saying, I don't know if I believe in Jesus anymore, like, because that was never the question. The question was, I don't know how I can live this life anymore. Am I a fraud if I'm struggling? How do I be a leader and be struggling?
Yeah, that's so good.
But I think Jesus is like, you don't have to do it in your own strength.
Absolutely.
It's actually him that gets us through, and being honest and vulnerable, I think, is what actually allowed me to still be a leader over the last few years.
Yeah.
Like, people just knew that Sal's always going to be honest with me about where she is. She's not going to pretend. She's not going to be a fake pastor. She's going to be pretty real.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's just a little bit of the context around how that story speaks to me in terms of just feeling like here I was finding myself in a messy place in life, but that God remained faithful to me, and he actually used my struggle.
Yeah, and will use it.
Yeah.
You know, and even that picture there that you just shared about, you know, you stayed in the room, I just straight away there, I felt like, well, Jesus doesn't leave the room either, you know, and it's sometimes that picture of, well, we think, you know, it's all about us and what we're doing, but Jesus is right there just giving us the time and the space that we need, gently calling us back, but then even using someone that doesn't even know him to get you to reassess and sort of go, you know, where do I need to be? Yeah. And that's just the beauty of God's love. Like, he gives us, it's relationship. You know, he's not forceful with his hand to demand that we come and serve him and be fake. Like, he wants us to be real. And I'm the same as you, that picture of just that woman, you know, on her knees, just weeping before Jesus and just pouring everything out. I actually see that as such a picture, and I've shared with the women of One Hope that, you know, to be a church of Marys, and I know in some scripture it says that it's Mary, and other scriptures it says that it's not, and I think that's regardless of who it is, that idea of serving so wholeheartedly and just pouring it all out is just so important. Yeah. Another question that I really want to ask, which I think is a great reflection question, is, you know, what do you know now that you would actually tell your younger self, you know, if you had that opportunity? Yeah, it's such a funny question, isn't it? I know it is. It's a hard one to think, because I had to sort of, for myself, I was like, oh goodness, there's a lot that I would probably tell my younger self if you knew my story. Yeah. But, you know, today, like, what are some of the things that came to your mind?
I don't know. It's funny because I don't know that I have anything super profound. I think I would say just do the things that you feel like you want to do. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things in my life that I didn't do because of how I felt responsible for others and to others. This is when I was young and single, and, you know, and then when you get married and you realise, I could have done all this stuff and I didn't do it. So I'd say, like, do those things that you feel called to do. Yeah. I'd also say just see a psychologist. Get a mental health plan, even if you're fine. I just feel like seeing somebody has been so helpful for me in the last 4 or 5 years. Like, just getting to know myself, understanding who I am, what I need, all those sorts of things have just been so instrumental. Man, I wish I understood about myself the way I do now. Yeah. Back then. If that makes sense. Anyway. And what else would I say? Maybe spend more time with my brother who passed away. Yeah. Maybe I'd say invest in your family relationships more. Yeah. It's, you know, it's so great to hear
who you are. And we've only just got this much. And I know that, once restrictions lift and we have the opportunity to gather together, I'm sure you and your husband Ken and your family will be able to have people over for meals, and you'll be able to go to people's houses for meals as well. And I just want to just say to you, I know that One Hope is so blessed to have you. In the short time that I've got to know you, you just bring such an amazing energy, and my children absolutely adore you. And I know, you and Georgia together are really blessing our families. Georgia, obviously,
amazing.
at the Moorlap campus, and you here at the Barrow campus. It is such a blessing. And as a mum, I think for me, I'm so encouraged to know that you are watching over the flock of our young ones. So I want to encourage you in that. But I also just want to encourage you, keep being real. Our women they do look to our leaders, and it's the same. That's why we're doing this. We just, if we all took off our masks and just said, this is who I am. I struggle, I weep at the feet of Jesus, and sometimes I don't even want to look at Jesus. We would all continue to learn and grow so much together. So I just want to encourage you in that. Keep being you, keep being real. You're such a blessing. And I'm so excited to see what God is going to do with you here in this community and your beautiful family as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks
for joining me on the gorgeous yellow couch.
Thanks for giving me a reason to put makeup on. It's been an exciting day.
And I'm sure we will have you on that couch again another time, talking all things wonderful.
Yay. Well, I'll sit on this yellow couch anytime.
I know, it's gorgeous, isn't it? I
love
feel
it.
a little bit let down that I'm stuck over here on the yellow.
No,
on
you're
the
grey.
All right, thanks, Sal.
Thanks, Nick.